Okay. Hey, neighbor.
So here we are.
Here we are.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, we're at camp. We should set the stage so people can understand. It is Wednesday night before the day of labor, the holiday weekend.
Yes.
And my good friend Don Shantz and I are up here at camp. And we have a fire going. We're drinking some drinks.
Fire, having a couple of drinks.
And we've been having conversations all night. And I keep saying to Donnie, this would make a perfect podcast.
Yeah, this would make a good podcast.
And he keeps saying, no, I don't want to. I don't want to do a podcast. And then somehow I've gilded him into it at this point.
As I had a few more drinks, it seemed reasonable.
So let's have all those conversations again.
Okay. What were we talking about? Yeah.
Well, I remember talking about it's nice coming to camp on a Wednesday night.
It is.
It's so quiet up here.
It is very quiet. It's peaceful. Just you don't have to think.
Yeah, we're just sitting up here. People are always I spent a lot of time up at camp this year. Very thankful. Like, one of the things that's happened this year is through the whole COVID thing is I've worked really hard since I was young. I've worked probably 7 days a week, and then I went to business for myself, worked 7 days a week, had a bunch of struggles and hard years, and coming into January, I remember having the thought January this year, like, fuck, this is all finally going to work out. Like, it was all worth it. Like, all those long nights and bullshit you had to deal with. And then March came.
Fruits of your labor.
Yeah. You're like, all right, maybe all this work hard and nose to the grindstone shit and fucking blah, 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 the dumb books you read and all the retarded shit that Tony Robbins says. Man,
all the stuff.
This is going to pay off. They're right. March 20th. Hey, we're shutting down the world and your business. What? We just need you to be closed. How long? I don't know.
Yeah.
Till this is done.
Until.
How long is that going to be? 15 to 15 months?
Yeah.
What am I going to do till then? Figure it out, bro.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll give you a stimulus.
So I maybe had too many days at home all by myself. Just sitting around thinking about shit. And I thought to myself, you know what? Fuck it. What makes me happy in life? This.
Camping.
I like sitting with my friends and laughing. And guess what dickheaded shit we can't do this year? We can't go to a bar like gentlemen and sit and laugh about ridiculous shit.
Yeah. Which we've tried to wean ourselves from that.
Well, I mean, it's the driving part after it.
Yeah.
I feel like we've dodged many bullets.
The little traps, yes. And this seems safe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna walk from here. My bed, I can almost reach my bed with my foot.
Yes.
If that wall wasn't there. So we can drink and have some good times and meet with friends and
walk to your bed.
And I started to think, like, let's just remove kids from this equation. I just like sitting around laughing with my friends.
I agree with you.
Like, it's my favorite night ever. Just sitting around talking like we did tonight.
Yes.
We cooked some food, and we're just sitting around talking about, hey, how's this going? How's your family? How's this?
Yeah.
And we're just talking about ridiculous shit. And every once in a while we get in a tangent about...
Yes,
something. Life. Yeah.
Talking about life.
And then you get the when you were 15, did you think that... those questions.
Yeah. So going back to that, I mean, when you were a kid, what was going through your mind that you wanted to do as a kid? I mean, for me, as soon as I got off the bus, I hopped on my bike and I rode up to the bus garage because we had to be there before the buses come back from their route to park, so we could ride across the road, hit the little hump that went into the bus garage and jump it. There was a whole bunch of us. It was who could make it to the furthest off
Before
of
the
this
buses
jump.
were in the garage.
Before
and you
the
couldn't do
buses
that.
came back and parked in the garage. So,
I feel like you're using the word garage in a very loose term.
well,
So, the bus garage that Donnie's talking about is actually where my shop is right now. And it was like, have you ever seen like the Mayan ruins? Where, like, you know, like blocks are old because they're like really gray.
with moss, lots of moss.
Yes. So this this bus garage was gray with moss growing over it, and the buses didn't fit.
No, they didn't. The front end stuck out.
Right out. And they could only park in one side because they only need one bus. Because the other side was falling down.
Oh, jeez.
You remember that? Like
Yeah.
the bus would park always
yeah.
on the left side
Yeah.
because the right side there's like blocks falling down and shit.
The garage is going to fall in.
Oh my goodness.
Why not stuff a brand new bus in this left side? Right.
Because we'll need it tomorrow. And we just don't want the back half to get snow on it.
Right, right.
This is the most bananas thing ever.
Oh, the little things you remember.
Yeah. Well, we were just sitting up here tonight. We're watching kids across the street. And they're probably like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, something like that.
And there's two little boys over there chasing each other around.
Going around a camper.
Yeah.
One looking under to see if he could see the legs of the other one, and the other one is already hid behind something where he's almost snuck up to the other one.
Just having the best nights
Yeah.
ever.
Yep.
I remember being a little kid and just the dumbest shit. Like you were just having the best night of your life. It was perfect, really.
Yep. You don't think about any of that stuff that you do now.
Well, and that's what I love about coming up here. Like you come up here and everybody's, you know, so I've been getting a little bit of flack. I'm not saying like people are writing me hate emails or anything, but on my posts they're like, don't you ever work? Yes.
Yes?
But not much.
Yeah, but when I do, I mean it.
Yeah. Must be fucking nice. Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
I've worked
awesome.
a lot to fucking not right now. And you know what I realized? It took me a lot of life to realize this. Do you know what the easiest way to make enough money to fucking do whatever you want?
What's that?
Don't want a lot of things.
Well, yeah. Set the bar low.
Yes. What do you want to do? I just want to sit around a fire and drink beer.
Right.
How much does a fire cost? I don't know.
Not much.
Whatever firewood is. Or we can just go get it. Like, we just need things to burn. How much does beer cost? Well, just like, if we have $20, we're good for tonight.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like, what else do you need? Some friends
Yeah. Which
that
are easy to
their
find
own-
when you have beer.
that bring their own $20 worth of beer.
Oh, see.
Because it's gonna run out quick. We're gonna be sitting around at 7:30 going, "Fuck, dude, we're gonna have to get fucking
I wish
jobs."
I wish you'd have worked a little more.
Right. No, this year has been one of the best years of my life. With all the COVID shit going on, I'm gonna be honest, and I feel a little. I was telling you a little bit earlier. I feel a little guilty saying it. This is one of the best years of my life.
And that's
You're gonna have to carry this. I'm going
it's
to get a
awesome.
beer.
It's awesome that you can take the time, especially in this year, to be able to spend it time with Piper, because she's of that age where you have to spend some time with your kid, get to know your kid, have your kid get to know you, and be able to
Actually,
make memories.
I only thought I had one beer left,
You're,
but I have two. I don't even know if they can hear this.
that's awesome that you have 2 beers left, because one sucks. No, but to be able to have the time that you can spend it with your child and get to know your child, have your child get to know you, and make memories.
It's not a bad thing.
She loves camping. You love camping. You know, you have that in common. It's something that you'll never get back.
I remember specifically one night through all the COVID shit, and I don't remember I don't remember the exact context of the night. I might have been drinking because it's the only way you can get through this shit. But Pam was worried about something. I can't remember what it was. And I said to her, I'm like, you know what? I want my kid, like, we're going through some historic shit right now. Yeah. Like, we're going through, like, the Great Depression.
Unprecedented.
Like, it's stuff that they will talk about or study in history books forever. Mm-hmm. Like, we're going through, and what's weird, and who fucking knew back then?
It's day-to-day life now.
We're going through the Great Depression / race riots of the 60s / the weirdness of the 80s / a technological burst of the 90s / a housing bubble crash of the 2000s / whatever the fuck the last 10 years were, all pressed into a year.
Yeah. All lumped together.
Right. It's this year just keeps getting nuttier and fucking nuttier. And it's going to be one for the history books. And I want my kid, who's somewhere below 10 right now. I don't know her exact age. I'm thinking around 8. Age 9. I want her, when she's my age, to look back and be like, those were nutty fucking times.
Those are nutty times. I remember when I was camping.
Right, but we lived the life.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't do anything bananas.
Yeah.
But we lived the life.
Simple things.
Yeah. We had the best time in the world. I didn't realize how fucked up the world was, but we lived good.
Yeah. We had fun.
Right.
Memorable.
I also want to look back and be like, God damn, my dad was good looking. And I'm not sure if that's true, but it's just something I want.
Well, maybe.
Myself.
You can always reach for it.
Right. Right. And I feel like you're in a different place in this journey because your kid is much older.
He's older, yes. So So my boy just started working at Zippo. I feel as though, and of course I'm only listening to his stories from
his perspective.
His perspective, yes. He is excelling at his position, where he's working at Zippo, doing a packing job, and how do I want to say, he wants more. He wants to be the leader of the packing. And
do you think he does, or you want him to be?
No, I think he does. I am very happy that he wants to be that, but I feel as though he is doing the packing job and trying to be, like, if they're saying you need to do 600, I want you to do 600 lighters. He says, I do 600 and then some.
Yeah.
And he, every shift that he's doing this job, he is excelling. He's doing better than what they are expecting of him. And that makes me happy. I'm a little bit proud of that.
And I think there is this thing you learn, and Parker's probably right about that age you learn it, where I just burped. I'm drinking Corona beer, so I might have the coronavirus. I don't know.
There's that chance.
There's this thing you learn when you're reaching Parker's age. How old is he right now?
19. Almost 20.
19, almost 20. When you turn into an adult and you realize all the shit you look down on, your dumb fucking 19, 20 years. Like, you're like, I don't want some janky-ass job at Zippo putting together fucking lighters. It almost feels like, I don't know what the word is, I don't want to be a fucking janitor at the school. I don't, like, all these jobs that you kind of look down at, you're like, I want to be a fucking astronaut. Or I want to be a biochemist.
It sounds stupid, but you're reaching for the stars.
Right, but you have this inflated vision of what life really is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get a certain age and you're like, oh, well, working at Zippo doesn't suck. Like, I get paid good. Like, the people around here are good. Like, I meet some of the best friends of my life at work. And
all of a sudden you realize that, hey, this is all right.
And then you start looking around at people who are, so you're 20, and you start looking around at people at 50, and you're like, wait.
They're doing the same
thing, and we're making kind of the same money? Wait, that guy has, like, a house and a wife and kids and a boat. Like, this is all I got to do? Like, I just have to go to Zippo every day and put together fucking
I just
lighters?
gotta show up and do my thing. And
I don't have to be a fucking superstar? Like, I don't have to fucking do this crazy ass shit? And I can have a fucking boat?
And
Like, are you fucking telling me that if I go to Zippo every day and put together more than my normal amount of lighters, I can get a fucking boat?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yep, you can get a fucking boat.
And I think that he is starting to realize that.
But then what I'm saying is you start to look at other people and you're like, the shit you look down at when you were a kid. Because you're a fucking moron.
You're a stupid kid. I lump kids into you're a stupid kid because they just don't realize. They have no idea.
It's a dumb
You're a
kid.
stupid kid.
Do you know how fucking dumb you were at 20?
Yeah. Compared to now. I mean,
I was a fucking moron when I was
see
20.
things now that didn't even register on the bubble when you were a kid. No. You had no idea.
I remember being a teenager. I wasn't old enough to drive, so I was probably 15-ish. And one of my buddies knew this guy. I'm not going to use names because we live in a small town.
Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to go to Port Allegheny to a football game. He knows this guy who's probably roughly our age right now. Was a family friend. And somehow convinces him to come pick us up. And drives us to Port Allegheny at a fucking high rate of speed in his brand new car.
Well,
Now we're talking like 1991. So it was a Pontiac Grand Prix, which the GTP, bro.
Dude,
fucking turbo.
Those
man.
were awesome.
Dude, they're the best. Like, they're a fucking hunk of shit right now. But back then, that was the coolest fucking thing ever. So we pile in the back seat, put our knees up by our fucking ears because there's no back seat. And we take off for Port Allegheny. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a clean cut. He's probably at 40-ish, 45.
Sure.
Somewhere in that zone. Clean cut dude, had a pretty wife, driving a Grand Prix. I didn't know what he did for a living.
GTP.
Dude. Turbo, baby.
Awesome.
We go to Port Allegheny at a high rate of speed. He drops out the football game. And he's like annoyed by the whole thing. He's like, get the fuck out. We're like, okay, thanks. Love your car. Thanks. He's like, fuck you.
Thing's
Get
awesome.
The fuck
Bye.
Out. And I left thinking, like, he was a complete dick. But I was like, that guy is so awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So years later, I bump into him in real life as I'm doing excavation and that kind of work. He's like the lowest of the low, working for a fucking gas company, like fucking National Fuel.
Just making ends meet.
Yeah, he had a regular job, and I'm like, oh wait, I thought this guy was like fucking Jeff Bezos back then. Like this dude
Looked up to.
Yeah. And you're like, oh wait, he's got a regular job.
He's just
maybe understands how to work a fucking checkbook register.
just doing it.
Like yeah. And you get older and you realize like, oh.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking earlier.
Reality.
I feel bad about kids that get out of high school, don't know what the fuck they want to do.
No.
And go spend $100,000 on a college education to find out, oh, nope.
And I give my son credit. So the wife and I went through some pretty tough times in his first semester. Wondering if he really knew what he wanted to do. Footing the bill for all of that, which that was difficult.
Right. Because you know you're just throwing it away.
Yeah. Well, you assume you are, which is hurtful.
Because you're like, I'm a fucking boat.
And he doesn't really know what he wants to do. And to his credit, he realized this isn't what I want to do. I don't know why I chose this path, but it's not what I want to do.
Right.
Now he is employed, has a job, seems to have a liking to what he's doing, and that makes me happy. That I'm overjoyed the fact that he has chosen something that maybe it's not what he's going to do for the rest of his life, but He's happy and he wants to excel.
I think he'll do great there.
Maybe he will. Maybe he'll move on to something else. I don't know, but at this point in life, he's doing good and he's happy. And that's what it's all about.
You know what's weird about things like that? When you're a little bit too close to the situation. When you guys were telling us what he was going to do for college, all of us were like,
Yep.
Doesn't.
I was the same. I was the same way.
You might as well come to me and be like,
he's going to be a rocket scientist.
No, not even a rocket scientist. Like, he's going to go into magic.
Yeah, he's going to cure cancer.
It would have been the same if you're like,
no,
hey, Parker's been working on some illusions, and I think he's the next David Blaine. He'll be like, shut the fuck up.
When he said he was going into construction management, I was like, really? You wouldn't help me do any of the side work that I do in excavating?
Right.
But yet you're going to go manage that?
Well, we were building the deck on your camper.
Yeah.
And he shows up for like a hot second. And it's just like, nope.
Yeah.
And you're just like, he has no interest in building. Like, and not bad or good.
No, it's not a knock against him.
It's just he's not interested.
Yeah.
Because if you were interested in that, you'd be like, hey,
I want to know everything about it.
Yeah. We're doing what I love.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't found that thing yet.
No.
Which is tough.
That is.
And you know what? It's taken me a long time to figure this out. I'm 40-some years old. You know what I like doing? I like drinking beer and talking with my friends. And if I can make a career out of it, if I can get you dickheads, when I'm saying, and I feel like you guys are holding me back, because when I say, this would be a great fucking podcast, and you're like, I don't want to lose my job, because I might say the N-word.
Nagger.
You guys never say the N-word. This is jokes. Just jokes, people, but yeah, like, it's hard to be a person.
You know, I'm 50 years old, and it never hit more home than in this past year. Somebody, when I was a kid, said, you've never worked a day in your life if you figure out what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
And that is true. Very, very true.
Yeah. I get tired of all those cliches.
I know, but if you know what you want to do, if you're very happy with what you're doing,
no, I disagree.
If you want to drink all the time, if you want to do podcasts all the time, does that really work?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Dude, it's the hardest thing in the world.
It is not.
Dude, let's go. We have an exercise in front of us here.
Okay.
It is the hardest thing in the world to do what you want to do.
And be good at it.
Yeah. Be good at it is what makes it pay. So, do you know how many podcasts we'd have to do before we'd get a following? Like, I think about this all the time.
You have like 17 people that follow you.
Yeah, it's not bad. Do you know the first time I ever did a podcast? It was 2010. And I did not have the stick-to-itness, or whatever you want to say, the fortitude, the fucking nose to the grindstone, to go, I really fucking like doing this. I like sitting around, fucking drinking some beer with my buddies and talking about stupid shit. I should have done that every week, at least, for 10 years.
And why didn't you?
Lazy. Made stupid excuses. I can't. I should have just every week on a Wednesday night, I should have got the mic out and fucking talked into the mic for an hour. And if somebody wanted to be there, great. If they didn't, if I would have talked into the mic every week for 3 months, you maybe or somebody else would be like, Jesus Christ, that poor motherfucker needs somebody to talk to.
He needs a friend.
Yes. And so people would start coming around and you'd start building this fucking thing.
Yeah.
But consistency, like not giving up. It's the same as like working out, which obviously if you look at me, you're like, he works out. No, I do not.
Absolutely.
No, it's just a natural build. Like a lot of fucking sleeping and beer drinking and genetics give me this body.
Genetics.
I feel lucky. Like I feel lucky when I feel like I won the genetic lottery.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
As you should.
I'm just like a medium-sized, And, I can eat a lot of things and I don't get super fat.
Right.
That's good.
Because your
Pretty happy with
genetics,
that.
if you didn't have those genetics working for you, you'd be a big man.
You'd be, like, right now this podcast would be like, I used to be 600 pounds, but then I found Jesus. And through Jesus, ugh. True story. But what I'm saying is, if I would have done this podcast every week for 10 years, I'd have 520 episodes, and there's no doubt, I would have found some weirdos that were like, oh, this fucking idiot says
You'd
good
have
things.
a following.
Yeah. And then instantly I'd get paid for views or what the fuck ever.
Whatever.
And
however it works.
It would have merged perfectly with what I want to do now, which is just sit around, drink beer, and talk with my friends, and what would pay.
That's the name of the game.
Right. So, I don't know.
So, moving forward, are you going to stick with this?
Well, we'll see.
Every week.
You know what? I'm going to commit to it.
I think
Every
you should.
Wednesday night, whether anybody's there or not. See, so one of the shitty things I think we do in life, and I'm guilty of it, is I blame my wife for shit that I should do and use her as an excuse why I don't.
Crutch.
So, this podcast was just mine. And then one day we're sitting around, her and I are just talking, and we're like, we ought to have this Life Over Drinks podcast. I think it'd be perfect. We can make money and have this whole conversation. We did like one. Like, we were so excited the first week. We're like, yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Ooh, this is good.
And then we never did another one. We might have done one more. It was like a year later.
Why?
Because
like
all
an
the time,
excellent idea.
all the time. And my wife, I love my wife. She's a brilliant conversationalist. But I come home from work, and I'll be honest. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know why this is. Like, is it a raising, or is it what it is? But I come home from work, and I fully expect my wife to make dinner at night. Like,
yeah, that's how we're raised.
I don't say it out loud.
Yeah.
Or, like, I wouldn't bitch if she didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming she's got this.
You assume? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what it is.
Oh,
And then
I'm the same way.
And I'll tell you why it's changed. So when COVID started, all this bullshit, I used to, like, try and be at the shop between 7 and 8 in the morning, and I'd work till 5 to 8 o'clock at night. Like, I almost never made it home before 7 o'clock on a good day. Okay? Then COVID started, and you're not supposed to go to work. So I was just staying home, and luckily I built a business that I was trying to make, like, completely mobile, that I could work anywhere in the world.
Sure.
With no employees and just do it. So it kind of worked out. Like, again, I go back to, I feel a little guilty this year where I'm like, yep, I can fucking do this all year. Like, this is exactly what I've been going for forever. But I'm home, and Pam is a painter, and people are still on the down low sneaking her over to their house, because you're just going to somebody's house and they're like, hey, I need my bedroom painted. Yeah. So she goes over for a day, paints the bedroom.
Right.
Like, it's no big deal.
Right.
And so I'm home, and I'm like, well, shit, I don't even have to go to work. Like, I'm doing all my same shit at home in my underpants.
That you're doing.
I get up early in the morning, I go to my shop, and I'm and I fire up my computer and turn on the lights and make sure the heater's working. And I'm like, I'm just sitting in my underpants on my couch, and my kid's coming over and I'm like, hey, you want to play Fortnite? And I'm like, I don't know, if nobody calls, motherfucker, we'll play Fortnite. Like, Sure, this is great.
Yeah.
So then when the restrictions lift a little bit, and that for some weird sense of duty that's been beat into me since I was like 4, every day I would get up a little later, make sure my kid's good, I would drive to the shop, and I would just walk around in there, turn on the lights, make sure the heater's working, flip some light switches, be like, yep, that's working. And not the phone didn't ring, Like nothing was going on for a few months.
Right.
But every day I'd go up there, sweep the floor, plow the driveway.
Do something.
Yeah, you're just like
maintain.
shuffle papers.
Yeah.
Like, yep, doing something. And then at some point I'm like, it started slow. So I remember when I first went into business, I was open from 7 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Because I wanted to catch the West Coast people.
Sure.
Because at 9 o'clock it's like 6 or whatever out there. And then I've slowly boiled down my day. So now my day is 9 to 4. Sounds awful. Feel a little guilty about it.
It's not awful.
No,
if you're going to work at 9 to 4,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Some days I leave early.
That's bad.
No, there's nothing going on. I'm just like, fuck this janky ass place.
Screw it. I'm out
But
of
what
here.
I'm saying is, I learned through this, like, and maybe I'm just rambling. I fucking
No,
have too
you're
much
not.
strength. I am rambling. But maybe, do you have to put in all that work to get to this place?
To get to a point where,
Right.
yeah, I agree with that.
Or do you just have a mind shift? You're like,
No, I think people see that you are working your butt off to try to get to a point, and then once you've reached that point, a lot of people say, "Oh man, he is working his butt off. He's trying to make it good. He's trying to do this, that, whatever." You know, they're all in. You have a following that has a buy-in. You know, and so you're good.
maybe.
I believe that.
You're probably right. I don't know. It just feels weird. I almost feel guilty that a lot of people this year I know are suffering and they're scared and have the shittiest year of their life.
Yeah.
And when I went into this year, I was like,
A lot of uncertainty.
wait. I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing for the past few years, scraping by, but you're going to give me better terms because COVID.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be on my ass about deadlines and shit. You're like, oh, don't worry about it. You can pay this in 3 months. I'm like, what? Like, all of a sudden I had breathing room and I figured out all my shit and got caught up on stuff. And, like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
And then the government, and I don't want to brag about this, but the government's like, here's money. Pay us back in 2050. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, well, that can be like a little trap too.
Like a 2.9% trap for over the next 30 years trap? Like, I don't know if you've been to the bank lately, but those fucks are like, we'll give you the same amount of money for 4 years at 12% interest. Those fucking criminals.
Yes.
Don't you wish you could go back in time and be the first person that thought of a bank?
Oh. Yeah.
So wait, you need
Yeah,
money?
it's a racket.
Right. And if you're less trustworthy or poor, we're going to charge you more for this money.
Will incentivize you if you are a first responder. We'll give you
Yes.
we'll give you $100.
So if you want to borrow 10 grand,
Yeah.
over the next 5 years you have to pay back 20. But if you're a first responder, 19.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love you guys.
Either way, it's a win-win.
Yes.
I mean,
It's like, it's fucking gross is what it is.
Yep. You was in the military? Here's another $250 off.
Yeah. So you only have to pay us back $19,250.
Yeah.
So wait, that's almost double the money.
And then,
Yep.
so I don't.
Well, I mean, we have to do all the paperwork.
We recently purchased a vehicle for my wife. So we went
you're
through.
married?
Yeah. I know, it's hard to believe. We went through all the paperwork. And we bought a Toyota. And there was a possibility you could get $5,000 in rebates.
But
I qualified for $1,500.
Nice.
Which was basically the bare minimum that Toyota gives, because I'm not in the military.
Did you have to pledge allegiance to Japan to get?
I'm not in the military. I'm not a first responder. I'm not a frequent flyer of Toyota vehicles. Numerous other things that they had as incentives, none of which anybody in their right mind would qualify for.
It's just like a shitty ass.
Yeah.
Advertisement.
I was very, disappointed, I guess, is a good word.
But you still bought the vehicle.
Oh, I bought the vehicle. It's a good vehicle.
This is what drives me nuts right now. Is all our marketing and advertising dollops a big spoonful of shit into your mouth.
Yeah.
You're
Amen.
like, wait, it's a spoonful of sugar? And then you get it in your mouth and you're like,
this tastes funny.
this tastes more like shit than sugar. And they're like, yep. You still want it? And you're like, yep. Like you just said, people do that over and over again.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I can get $5,000 off, and you go in there to buy a Toyota,
is terrible.
and you're like, wait, $1,500? And they're like, well, it's your fault.
Yeah,
You're not a first responder.
You lump of shit.
You fucker. You never went in the military. You piece of shit.
Yeah. You
And
didn't
you're like-
serve in Japan?
Yeah, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm lucky to get this $1,500.
Yeah.
Give me the Toyota.
Thank you.
Like it's this weird reverse mind fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Drives me fucking bananas.
I hate it. I was upset about it, but I still spent the money.
I know, it's weird. Like, because you want the vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't
That's
want
the
to get
problem. That's
like,
the problem. You see something, you want it so bad.
Yeah, you go in, you're like, oh, my
And
life would be so much better.
And you hope that all those things, all the planets line up where you get all this rebates.
Because only then are you worthy.
No, it's not.
Only
it's
if
not
your
that
credit
way.
score is good enough.
Yeah, it's
Are you worthy of love? That's a true story. We were talking earlier.
Only then.
We were talking earlier. So, my wife has driven the same vehicle. So I did a solid for her. My wife's a fucking saint.
She's awesome.
In 2010, to show her how much I loved her, and I wanted her to be safe and have a good vehicle to drive, I bought her a 2003 vehicle. So I bought her this nice 7-year-old vehicle. It's a longer story than that.
That's awesome. That's good.
She's like, oh my God, it's so nice. Now I can get rid of this 1950 vehicle I was driving. So anyways, she has driven this 2003 vehicle from 2010 till this year. She won't give it up. Like my wife,
I remember this. We had to convince her that this is a good vehicle for her.
To give up the other one.
Yeah, because she does painting. She has to carry all of these ladders and supplies and whatever.
She's right.
This is a good vehicle for you, Pam. And once she got in it, she was like,
It's over.
Yeah.
She gets attached to things, which makes me a little curious and skeptical about our relationship.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a janky ass, old fucking broke down vehicle. Like she doesn't want to get rid of it.
But
Like,
she's attached.
it's my vehicle. It doesn't work good, but it's my vehicle.
Yeah.
So anyways, this year, her vehicle's getting a little rusty. It's got some issues. And finally one day I'm like, look, let's go shop and get you something new. So we get her something newer. In 2020, because I'm a gentleman, I bought her a 2010 vehicle. And she's like, oh my God, thank you. It's so amazing. This is so much newer than my 2003.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Stick with
welcome,
me. Stick
honey.
with me.
Yeah.
Stick with me. You're going places. But anyways, it is a nice vehicle. But anyways.
It is.
So I started driving her old vehicle and I started fixing up all the shit. So it's 2020. I'm driving this 2003 thing around. And I started thinking, we were talking about this earlier. I started thinking, like, when I graduated from high school in 1994, that would mean you were driving like a 1975 fucking vehicle around, being like, this is good.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
good.
it.
This thing's a piece of shit.
You look at that guy, and it was weird. Like, if he was driving an old Bronco or a Jeep
Yeah.
You'd be like, that guy's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
And 70s, oh, I got the burps. 70s muscle cars, yeah.
Junk.
But if he was driving like a 71 Chevelle in 1992, you'd be like, that guy's cool as fuck.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I'm driving around this 2003 Excursion, and I'm starting to think, like, am I a piece of shit? Like, am I a...
How do people view me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, guess what I thought? I don't give a fuck.
I know.
I like this fucking vehicle.
Isn't it awesome? Once you reach that age where you're like, fuck it.
You're conscious of it. You're like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, hey, nice old truck, asshole.
It hits you.
You're like,
hits
hey,
you.
here's my dick. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
People look at you. You acknowledge that they're looking at you. It's like, but you don't care. You're like,
This makes me happy.
middle finger.
I like driving this.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you worried about getting old?
I don't care. I don't see myself as 50. It doesn't register. I think that
You still feel
I think
like
that I hit
16?
in that no.
mental.
I think that I hit that mid 30s, and I'm stuck in that. And it's funny, even people that I know that are getting older, I oftentimes catch myself saying, that kid, he's like 40 years old.
Yeah.
That kid there, he's whatever. He's not a kid anymore. He's 40, 45, whatever.
It's weird. It's weird to be old enough, not just to watch babies turn into people, but watching teenagers turn into grown people.
Yeah.
They have their own family,
Yeah.
and they get jobs, and then like you have to work with them, and you're like,
So
I wish I wasn't such a dick to this person when they were a kid. You're like,
having coached baseball, seeing the kids that I coached through baseball, through midget league football, that's tough. It's gratifying. You see these kids that you remember them as just going back again, stupid kid.
right.
Don't know anything about anything, and here they are, grown up, and life is hitting them, and you look at that as being you were part of their life,
Yeah.
and
You kind of want them to look back and be like, oh, Coach Shantz gave me a life lesson that I don't. Like,
And-
maybe someday at a camp, sitting around a microphone randomly,
No,
they'll be like, I remember one day.
you know what I look forward to? Somebody coming up here and saying, hey, Coach Shantz, let's have a beer together.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
So what's weird is, one of the weird ones for me is, this is hard to explain. It's not hard to explain. I'm just going to explain.
No,
it.
just talk.
So, one of the things that everybody thinks is weird is we lucked out into moving into a good neighborhood. And everybody in our neighborhood
You have a good...
are friends.
Yeah. You
Like,
have a good neighbor.
it strikes me as odd when people are like, I don't even know that person that lives next to me. And we're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
How do you not?
Like, our neighbors get together all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's a regular thing all through the neighborhood.
You have a good hood.
Yeah, they're good people. Every direction. They're all good people.
Yeah.
And even if it's not the kind of person you want to sit around and have drinks with, like, people are different, but they're all good people. So, in our neighborhood, there's my friend Roy, Steve, us, and then Scott. We've all been friends
Oh, yeah.
forever. And then we all go to each other's houses. And just if it's a nice day.
Everybody hangs out.
If it's a nice day, you look out and you're like, oh, hey, they're out. And you don't ask. There's no invitation. You just walk over there with a couple beers and you're like, hey, what's up, dude?
You meander.
Yeah, and you just have a nice night. The same shit as camping.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love in life. We just sit around and we talk about stupid shit and we laugh and we gossip and we talk about what the fuck ever.
You live life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's weird, though, this is what people are like, what? we all camp together. So we leave our regular houses.
Yeah.
And on the weekends,
You carry on the tradition.
We come up to these tiny houses, and we live roughly the same ways apart, and have the good old times.
Yeah.
Like, they're good people, and I think that's
It is
like,
hard.
if you asked me when I was 20 what life was about, not this,
Yeah.
I couldn't even articulate what we do right now. Couldn't even begin to.
When you were 20, what did you think you were going to amount to in life? Do in life?
Let me think.
What was life all about? What were you striving towards?
Well, I really wanted a hot chick.
Yeah. And you got that.
Yeah. And then after that, just kind of freewheeling,
Everything,
really.
everything fell into place.
No. Like, I really thought I was going to be a welder. But I didn't want to do that. It's one of those weird things. I think about Parker a lot. And I went with my dad all the time welding.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm going to be a welder. Like, this is what you do. You're a
It's
fucking
just-
welder,
yeah.
man. And then also, I spent a good fucking decade looking at him going, that fucking sucks. Like, you're getting burnt, you're laying in mud and water and shit.
Awesome.
And you're getting
Awesome.
burnt. And it's hot as fuck.
Yeah.
And boring. You just stand there looking at metal melt all day long. How was your day today? Oh, I just stood around, sweated my dick off.
I just
watched metal melt.
Welded a bunch of shit together.
I have a love for welding, but
I have an
also
appreciation.
don't want to do it.
I have an
So I
appreciation.
thought I was going to be a welder for the longest time, and then my dad started getting, from the time I was like 16 up, he started getting into more mechanics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, I want to be a fucking mechanic. I want to be a welder / mechanic like my dad. And then I got older, and I'm like, nope, this fucking blows too. This is hard fucking work.
I want to be well-rounded.
Right. And now I'm thankful for that base because, and on the flip side of this, my mom, who is not speaking to me at this moment, we're on the bit of the outs.
I feel bad about that.
I know.
But go ahead.
We'll get into that in a minute. But my mom has always been. My mom was like a hippie that never got to. Okay? So she was always into music, and I feel like if she didn't marry my farmer Catholic dad, like, she's like a little bit too old for Woodstock, but if she was a little bit younger, she would have been like in some picture that all of us see in history books about Woodstock.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like my mom missed being a hippie by like 4 years. But she also was very Steve Jobs-like hippie. She's super into technology. So I remember in the early 80s when we had those stupid, can't remember what they're called, the stupid records that movies were on. Do you remember that?
Records?
Yeah, there was these huge record-looking things, and they had like a flap on the end, and they're like video digital discs or some shit. It was like the precursor to a DVD.
Really?
But it was huge. It was like a giant record thing. So my mom, we had one of those in 1981.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cutting edge.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
You remember that movie?
Yeah.
We had that on these giant record-sized disc things, and you slid them into this machine, and it flipped up. It was kind of weird. Like, it flipped, like the end of it flipped up, and then I don't know what the fuck was in there, but magic. So we had that.
In the end, it played.
And then I remember my mom getting Beta.
Oh yeah, we had Beta.
She brought home Beta.
Beta was
and then
shit.
I distinctly remember my mom going, "This janky ass shit. We're getting VHS."
Yeah.
I fucked up. Like, we're getting VHS.
Yeah.
We had Apple computers from the beginning. Like, my mom was always on the cusp of technology. Nintendo, like, all that shit. My mom, I don't know why or how, she was always into it. So she's a hippie. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like a Steve
techno
Jobs.
hippie.
Yeah, a Steve Jobs. Because Steve Jobs is kind of a hippie.
Yeah.
That never made like $1 billion. And I'm like, Mom, try harder. You could have.
Come on.
You could have been Steve Jobs.
You
had it all in you.
You got to work it out.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I've always been into technology, and then my dad was a mechanic guy, and then I feel like everything that I do right now, I'm so thankful for both of them that I learned these things, because as computers started to take over vehicles, it wasn't foreign to me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you're familiar with it.
I get all this.
Yeah.
Like, I understand how all of it works. And I feel a little bit old right now because shit's starting to get a little bit past me.
Well.
But I'm thankful that I was able to build everything that I do right now off the basis of those two people.
Of those things.
Yeah. And they don't realize it. And maybe this is what we go back to earlier when you're talking about Parker. Like, maybe he's not building a legacy for him. He's building something for his kid someday.
And that's entirely possible, because my upbringing was heavy duty into oil field and excavating.
Keep talking. I'm going to pee over
and
here.
I'm have at it. And so I learned a lot from my father about pipelining, doing oil field related work, and excavating. I took the excavating part of it because that's what I like to do, and I extended it to really being able to build and develop land better than what he could do, but I'm certain that he could do the pipelining end of it better than I ever learned. And so when I was younger, he and I both worked very well together because he could do the pipelining end of it way better than I did, but I did the dirt work better than he did. And so we developed the business to be able to do a turnkey.
So it was like a nice partnership.
Yeah, it was more of a turnkey situation for anybody that would develop leases. We could do it start to finish, you know?
Right.
And I think Parker is developing into that kind of a mindset where he takes whatever they tell him to do and takes it and pushes that envelope. So makes me happy.
Yes. You know what though I think is different? Do you remember everything you just described when you're working with your dad, and there was a point when you saw your dad as a person instead of your dad?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe you have to work around enough other people.
Yeah.
And you're like,
about 20 years old, 21.
Yeah, where you start to realize, like, oh, he's not my dad. He doesn't know everything. He's been telling me a lot of lies.
Yeah. Well, he stretched it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also you start to see him as a man or a human, where you're like, oh, this motherfucker. Like, my mom had me when she was 18, and my dad was 21.
Yeah.
I think, or 20, somewhere around there. I was a fucking moron when I was 21. I don't even know, like, I've always wanted kids forever. It took us forever to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that I was equipped to fucking deal with kids at that age.
I can remember my dad, which, I mean, any kid, you always look up to your dad.
Of course.
You know, he's like, oh, he's awesome. You know, my dad's the most awesome dad ever. You know, I would like to think, now that I've reached later in life, my dad is an awesome dad. You know, he was a pretty awesome dude, or is a pretty awesome dude. But the one thing that sticks out, or two things that stick out, is I can remember my dad worked all the freaking time. And he was a self-employed person, so now that I'm 50 years old, I realize you got to work all the damn time to make things work.
Right.
You know?
It never ends.
Yeah. So that's why he was working all the dang time.
But you sort of resented that when you were younger.
I did.
Let's play ball or what the fuck ever.
Yeah. Why isn't my dad coming to my baseball game? Well, he's freaking working.
Yeah.
You know? But another thing that hits home is, so after I realized all of the work that is going on behind the scenes, the guy has all of these ideas about what he wants his son to be, what he wants life to be, all that stuff. And it just, I don't know, it kind of hits home that he is working his ass off, trying to make a life, trying to make you what he thinks that you should be. And I don't know, it's kind of humbling. It's kind of humbling, all of that, you know?
It kind of sounds like everything you were just saying about your son.
Yeah.
An hour ago, and I'm like, hey, we should have a podcast. Do you think your dad's proud of you?
Some. I think that there's things that he wishes that I would have done that I didn't.
Like what?
Finish college.
Why?
I don't know. There's that expectation.
Does he pay for it?
Well, there's expectation that, I don't know. You go through high school, you go through college, you get that dream job, and everybody's successful. And
it's bullshit.
Yeah. But there's that expectation, that
See, I feel lucky
dream.
that I did not have that in my life. So
that's good.
You know, it is, because I remember my dad basically was just happy that I wasn't a fuck up. So I remember, and I can't remember the words. I wish I had a transcript of the conversation. But when I was graduating from the senior year, because I started getting a little bit wild my senior year. Like, I had reached a point in high school. So I went through school. I was straight A's and fucking everything. I was in enrichment until I quit in 10th grade, and I'm like, this is fucking...
That's stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are giving me fucking busy work. Like, I don't even want to do my regular schoolwork, and you guys want me to work on, we're going to do the Model UN. What the fuck is that? Well, everybody picks a country, and we'll debate, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Boring ass shit.
Making stuff up
like,
to do.
I want to think about things. I don't want to rehash what people are already saying. Like, and I think all the time when they're talking about abortion. Like, we used to have a debate fucking shit, fucking having to do debates in enrichment. And we were debating abortion, pros and cons, and I debated both sides back in fucking 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
This has gone on forever.
Yeah.
And you have to start wondering, like, wait, why?
Why has somebody not done something?
Well, why is this still going on?
Yeah.
So, do you want to kill babies?
No.
No. Do you want a woman that's raped to have to carry a rapist baby? No.
No.
Yeah, there's some nuances there.
Yeah.
But do you want a fucking 18-year-old girl? Now that I have a daughter, I'm a little more fucking in tune to this.
Yeah.
Do you want an 18-year-old girl that had a one-night stand to have to carry the baby of that dude? These are fucking impossible questions.
Yeah. It's so hard.
Like, to
so
fucking
hard.
break it down to yes or no, binary, black and white.
Make a rule.
It's fucking impossible.
Make a rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
how do you make a rule based on anything? You know, I mean, yeah.
It's hard. But anyways, so I go through high school, and I get to the end, and I looked at everything, and there's nothing I want to go to college for. Like, I looked at the landscape, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything.
Nothing wows me.
But I also was in like the workforce since the time I was 14 or 15. And I learned these lessons where I'm looking at people, I'm riding to work with people, especially in the summer, and we're going to do construction jobs or whatever. And I'm listening to them talk. And I'm like, I think this guy makes a lot of money. And again, he has a boat and a car and a house and everything.
Yeah, but he's unhappy.
Well, he's living a bullshit life. Like, he sounds like my moron friends. Like, and then I was lucky enough to be around college, quote unquote, I'm doing the finger quotes, college educated people who have the same fucking shit. Other than they look down at the people that didn't go to college because they're so dumb. But they have the same struggles. They hate their fucking wife. They don't like what they're doing. But those motherfuckers are more stuck than the dude that got a job driving truck out of high school.
You're right.
Because they paid $100,000 to be a fucking sports assistant.
They have all
sports
that debt.
medicine assistant.
All that debt.
So I paid $75,000 for this education. I have to use it. Where the dude that went driving truck goes, you know what? This fucking kind of blows. I want to go work at Kmart. Okay.
Yeah.
Making the same money. I'm making the same $10 an
I
hour.
want to be in an assembly line somewhere.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he tries all the jobs till he's finally like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Like, this is the place for me. And maybe not the job, but maybe it's the environment. So you can probably do the same job in 10 different places and hate 9 of them, but you land in one place where the people are cool and the people you work with or the management or whatever is cool, and you're like, oh, fuck, I'll stay here the rest of my fucking life, and I'll make enough money to get a fucking boat.
It's the whole. I'm sure you've heard it, but you never quit a job. You quit a boss.
Have you ever paved? I don't give a fuck who your boss is. Fuck that job. I still have scars. Okay. I still have scars.
So there's one exception.
I still have scars right below my balls where my underpants sweated, and I have fucking brush burns that have never healed from paving.
Dude, that's a problem.
Yeah, I know. I don't give a fuck who your boss is. That job fucking sucks. So there's some jobs I don't give a fuck. It's just hard, back-breaking work, and you do it to get by.
It is. It is. There is many jobs like that.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10,
you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. There is a boss that just drives you absolutely batshit crazy, and you cannot deal with. You absolutely hate that human being, and you want out of that situation.
All right.
Whether it's a good job or not.
So here's a question. So I am 44 years old. More of my life, as a percentage, I have been in charge of other people than I have not.
Why is that?
I don't know. But I feel like the same way with you. What kind of boss do you think you are?
What kind of boss?
In your own head.
In my head?
Yeah.
I'm a pushover.
You think so?
I think that people know that I expect them to do their job, but beyond that, I'm easy.
Really? I would have pictured you for a little harder than that. I've never worked for you, but
I expect somebody to do their job, and after they do that job, if they want to exceed in their position, they look for something more. If they don't, if they just want to get by, then they come back to the shop and they're like moping around the shop, and I go out and say, what is it, break time? Are you on break again? You know, something like that. I guess I don't push people to be better than what they expect themselves to be. But if they do push themselves, then I give them the pats on the back and everything that they need to excel, I guess. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does. So if you had an employee or a person that wasn't living up to your standards, how would you deal with it?
I guess I'm a sarcastic person. If they're not doing what I like, I make sarcastic comments to them. Not derogatory. I don't belittle them, but I guess I make sarcastic comments to try to push them towards what I think that they should do.
You sound just like my dad. My dad does that.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is from the same school.
I would have to say that I'm old school.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I guess my father did that to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've learned. And I've had a lot of other people do that around me, to me, whatever. And I've learned that. And I think it's a good system.
I think it's terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I'm going to challenge you on this.
Go ahead.
Because, all right, so I know why you say you feel like you're a pushover, because I feel the same way too. Because we both
feel like I'm a pushover too.
No. I feel like I'm a pushover.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like we both have big hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want to see people do good. Mm-hmm. And it breaks my heart. Like
you want them to be happy.
I have fired. I have no idea how many people in my life. In the 25 years that I've been in a managerial role, the amount of people I've fired is I couldn't even begin to tell you.
Yeah.
And
all of them
felt fucking. I wanted to kill myself over everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I remember being. So I'm gonna name drop. This podcast is brought to you by Duffy Incorporated in Smethport. We're breaking into a spot right now. I don't think anybody's even listening at this point, but
probably not.
I remember one time, right? Because Chumley, he kind of took me under his wing when I was a young guy. I went with Chumley a lot, and there was one guy. When I worked with Chumley, we were stoning road. So for those that don't know, that somebody would take a bulldozer and rough out like a dirt road, and then there'd be an excavator or a stone pit somewhere, and they'd load stone into dump trucks because you couldn't just drive on the dirt road because it'd get muddy and there's not a good wearing surface. So you'd have to get stone, which was hardy, and these dump trucks would back in and dump it, and the bulldozer would shape the road, and you'd have this nice hard road to drive on. Well, the dump truck driving job was like the entry-level job. And anybody...
Which is mind-boggling.
Anybody with a fucking pulse got to drive this fucking 80,000-pound truck around and try and back it down a quarter mile of road using their mirrors. And most of these guys had zero skills or abilities. They just needed a job, and they were warm-bodied to fill
I would
a spot.
say half of those people didn't graduate high school.
And this is where I got an appreciation for people, is growing up through this. But I remember distinctly one time. So somehow I had mechanical ability and I could drive a truck. So I got put in charge of not only the truck drivers, but the fucking dump trucks. So my job was, when I worked for Duffy's, was if a dump truck broke down, I would give them my truck, which was the best, because I fixed the fucking air conditioning on it. But if their truck broke down, I would give them my truck, and I would fix their truck. And then once it was fixed, whatever it took to fix their truck, that way it was always going, and somebody was working on their truck.
Yeah, stone was moving.
And one time, there was one guy in particular, couldn't drive. Like, the guy was a fucking moron. And he just kept breaking his fucking truck. Not because it was a bad truck, because he's fucking stupid. Like, he's just doing dumb shit constantly. Cutting tires, driving over pipes and slicing tires. Just, like, constantly, like, twice a week I'm like, oh, fuck. This guy again? Like,
come on.
I don't want to name names. And we're riding home one night. I'm riding with Chumley, and I'm like, Chumley, this guy's a piece of fucking shit. Like, fuck this guy. He's costing you more money because he sucks. And Chumley, in all his infinite wisdom, and he's probably younger than me at this point. He's probably 35. He goes, you know what? When you fire somebody, that is a major life thing. It ruins their entire life. It's half their identity. It's their plans for next month on when they're going to buy a boat. I keep saying about boats. I don't want another boat. I had a boat. But
yeah, it's a life-changing
your employment is the underpinnings of your life.
Yeah.
And when you fire somebody and they lose their job, you have fucking destroyed half, if not more, of their life and their plans and everything else. And I remember being a young fella and thinking about that on the way home and going, yep, he's not wrong. It's 100% right. And it almost makes me want to cry a little bit.
It makes me happy that you had people around you that you can reflect on, you know.
Oh, I had so many good... I am lucky in that in my life, I had so many people that were like, come here.
Yeah.
Let me show you how this works. Let me explain things to you.
You did. You had good...
Very lucky.
People.
But also, I have fired a lot of people. And I don't know... There's a couple that we're friends... Like, one in particular... you know what I'm talking about. That I had to shit can. That was our good friend.
Yeah.
That I just went home and bawled.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like...
It makes you so sad.
It's the worst day of my life. But I can't go on like this anymore. Like,
right.
Like, this person is just toxic. Like, I don't even know the words. Like, and
you can't put words to it.
No.
I mean,
you're just like, this is a math problem that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. But, I don't know. You learn those things as you get older.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you start to look at our parents and you start to wonder, like, all right, so we're 45, 50. What kind of shit do you know when you get to be 70, 75?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I feel as though 75, that's my cutoff.
You just want to tap out?
No, it's 75.
Sandwich.
You've reached where you really know your shit. You've been around. You know all the things.
But your body doesn't work.
No, not that. But in another year, you're going to start losing your shit.
Oh.
And you get to be, and I hate to say it because I love my dad. But he's 77 years old, and he's starting to get to that point where...
Yeah. You think your dad's going to be listening to this podcast?
I hope not.
No, I think this would be a tribute. If our parents listen to this...
No, because how would you feel if your kid is, like, praising you, but yet, like...
I know exactly how they felt.
My dad... 77 years old, at 75, even borderline 76, he's got his shit going on. He knows...
Your dad's busy.
Yeah, he knows exactly what's going on, and he is right, like 99.9% of the time. And
I love
like you try to get all this stuff going on, and you're like, Dad, I'm doing this and doing that, and he's like, yeah, but what if? And you're like, shit, right. He's right.
He sees like another angle that you don't see. Yeah,
and he's right. You look at it and you're like, son of a bitch, I thought this all through, and that guy is right. You know, it sucks, but whatever.
You know what I've grown to love in my life, and I started to say it earlier, is when you reach a certain age and you start to see your dad as a person instead of just your dad, like this fucking messiah figure.
Yeah.
But my dad and I have gotten to be really good friends, to where my dad, if he doesn't get me on the phone, this is hilarious. So technology has passed my dad by to the point where my dad thinks that when you hit the voicemail on a cell phone, it's the same as like an answering machine at your house. And he leaves me messages. He's like, "Hey, cocksucker, I know you can hear me. You just don't want to pick up the phone. It's your dad. Pick up the fucking phone, cocksucker." Like, they all make me laugh. I wish I would have saved them.
It just keeps recording.
Like, he thinks that I'm in the living room listening to the answering machine, like not picking up.
Yeah,
and
it's the greatest thing ever.
Normally, I'm just taking a shit or something, and he called me at 6:45 in the morning, and nobody calls me. I left my phone out there.
Yeah.
So I call him back. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, I was just seeing."
Just see what you're up to today.
Like,
how's life treating you?
Makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
But also, one of the funniest things. So, boy, two funny things about my dad. So, Dad and I, we used to, before the COVID, Dad and I would get together either on Saturday or Sunday. Not so much through the summer, but from like we were the opposite of the summer season. So from Labor Day to Memorial Day, we'd get together every weekend and go get burgers somewhere.
Sure.
At a bar or whatever.
Yeah.
So one day we're sitting there, and he's going on about, excuse me, he's building a tank or something or another, and he wants to know how many gallons fit in the tank. I'm like, "Fuck, dude, I don't know." He's like, "Well, I think there's so many pounds per square foot." And I'm like, "Why don't you Google it?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like,
mind blown.
Just Google it, dude. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Your fucking phone. Pick it up and squeeze it and just say, how many?" He's like, "What?" So I pick his phone up and I'm like, "How many fucking gallons are in a square foot?" And it's like, Google's like, 3.4 gallons in a square foot. My dad's like, "What? You can ask this anything?" I'm like,
mind
"Fucking
blown.
anything, dude."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No fucking way." Like, you can just see his mind just like, "What?"
Whoa. Yeah. Well, that's
And then the other one.
it is a huge thing.
The other one lately. So, my mother set him up with a Facebook profile that none of us are allowed to friend. Like, I haven't even attempted it since my mother defriended me a few weeks ago.
Well, yeah.
My dad has found Facebook Marketplace,
Oh boy.
which I have trouble with. Like, do you ever, like, click on Facebook Marketplace and you're just looking at shit you don't need?
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I need a rototiller."
I don't know.
And you're like, "I don't even have
There's
a garden.
a chance.
I have a garden, but it's like $65. So maybe I'll go pick that up." Like, my dad has bought so much shit off Facebook Marketplace. It's fucking insane. He's telling me all the time. He's like,
He's living it up, huh?
"Oh, dude, he loves it." What's good? He loves it. Yeah, so that's my dad. My mom,
I know you've had some
things have gotten a little dicey
some
past
sadness.
6 months.
Sadness.
You know, the weird thing is, I'm weighing in my head right now
Yeah, I know you are.
if my mom is going to listen to this.
Yeah.
And
Lay it out there, Johnny.
so my mother is a sweet person.
She is.
My mother would do anything for anybody. But she's also,
She's very opinionated.
I don't even know if that's the word. Through this whole COVID thing, she has been on a level of worried and meanness that I've never seen before in my entire life.
So let me ask you this. If you were your mom's age, would you be worried about COVID?
Yeah, I'm worried about it right now. It scares the fuck out of me. But
would it rule your life like your mom's?
maybe. But here's the difference. I would let it rule my life, but not everybody else's. If I'm around somebody that I don't enjoy their company, no matter what it is, whether I feel like they're going to give me the Rona,
sure,
or I just don't want to talk to them,
yeah,
I just leave.
Yeah.
Or if I know you're going to be there, and I don't want to be around that,
just
I don't go.
Don't be there.
I don't make shitty ass excuses.
No.
It infuriates me.
Well,
and you know what's funny? So my mom, I think, I don't want to say I don't know. She's getting in all these internet fights with people. So weird.
She's very, she's got an opinion.
Well, I feel like it's the tempo we're in right now, too. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody's fighting on the interwebs.
Mm-hmm.
But, one of the things... Donnie, you got very quiet.
Yeah. I'm listening.
All right.
One of the things
that drives me crazy is I feel like my dad is very hardcore in this is the way it is, and that's it.
I would agree. He's much like my father.
And I feel like I've learned nuance from my mother, where my mother was like, not exactly.
The softer side.
If my dad said A was A, my mom would be like, there's also B, C, and D. Like, maybe take a look at that. Mm-hmm. And somehow my mom has gotten militant on A is A. Mm-hmm. And if you were like, there's B, C, and D.
No.
And fuck you for even mentioning it. Not like, here's where you're wrong.
Yeah.
Fuck you for having an opinion other than mine. And, okay.
Well.
So let me ask a question.
She's gotten later in life.
Yeah, but I'm gonna throw something at you here.
Go ahead.
You lost your mother a couple years ago.
Yes, I did.
If you could go back and do things differently... There's a piece of my steak I just stuck in my shitty ass teeth. Just spit out. But if you can go back and do things differently, what would you do differently with your mother?
With
knowing what you know now. Because maybe this is a good thing for me to
I would not
delete this podcast and never
I would
publish
not change anything. Other than I wish she didn't have the affliction she had,
Of course.
But I feel as though I had a very good relationship with my mom, and I think she taught me a lot of things. I taught her a few things, and I think in the end we had a good mesh, we had a good thing. But she was a stubborn person. Really? Very stubborn. And if there was anything that upset the apple cart in her way of thinking, you had a lot of splaining to do.
Right.
But I think that she would listen to you. If she didn't agree with you,
what you were...
she would listen to you. She would consider what you're saying to her. Maybe she'd agree with you. 9 times out of 10, you were a stupid kid. and you didn't know what you were talking about. You were just talking what you wanted instead of real life, you know.
Right.
And so she would listen to that, give you the respect of your opinion, but also tell you her opinion and how you were wrong.
No matter what.
Yeah. So
What's it like losing a parent? I haven't. Thank God.
So there's a sadness and an emptiness, and also in the flip side of that, there is a remembering of all of the good stuff. Seems like there's always, so on Saturdays there's a breakfast that we all go down to my dad's house, we all have breakfast, you know, and inevitably there's a story, you know. You remember this, that, or the other thing of somebody in your family that has passed away or even still there, you know.
Right.
But with my mom, we always remember the things that, like, little stories that happened, actions that you did or didn't do that she did some sort of reaction to, that you just laugh and laugh about it. And those are the things that you look forward to. And
Do you guys still do the Saturday?
oh yeah, that's a religion.
Do you guys talk about your mom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because your mom, like, was... Nobody saw that coming.
Nope. She had issues going on with her respiratory, and it was kind of downplayed. And all of a sudden, she caught a bad cold, and she always seemed like anytime she caught a cold, it went right straight to bronchitis. And she had a bad cold. She would take antibiotics and she would pull through, and you know, and then here we are. She caught a bad cold, couldn't breathe, go to the emergency room, and her lung function is like 25% of what it should be, and she's gonna die. You know, I mean, that if there's if there's nothing in life that can slap you in the face harder, it's something like that happening. And it was very sad.
It was crazy from the outside, where I remember your mom was in Erie or Buffalo or wherever it was.
Yeah.
Was it Erie or Buffalo?
Olean and then Buffalo.
And I was like, "Is your mom okay?" And you're like, "Yep. She's in Buffalo. They have everything all right." And the next day,
Yeah.
done.
Yep. So we went. She was in Olean because they were more capable of treating her as far as her conditions and what we have in our local area.
Which is nothing really.
Which is,
We have
yeah,
basically Band-Aids and Bactine.
it's poor. It is. It's poor. But at the time, we didn't think that there was anything too awful the matter, you know?
Right. How old was your mom?
She was 74. And, she went to Olean. First, I don't know, she couldn't breathe. She went to Bradford Hospital, went to emergency room. They sent her, because they're together, they sent her to Olean because Olean was better able to treat her.
Right.
From Olean, they treated her, but they knew that they couldn't pull her out of the funk that she was dealing with. And so they said to us, after we said to them, geez, you know, Mom isn't really pulling through. Why are we still dealing with this problem. Should we think about sending her someplace else? And they said, well, Buffalo General is better equipped to treat this sort of affliction. And so, obviously we're trying to help our mom.
Obviously.
Send her where you need to send her, but we need to do this because she's not getting any better, and here we are a couple weeks into this, and we got to do something. We're trying to save our mom,
All right. So we're 100. Sorry, I drank too much. We're an hour and 41 minutes into this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I always do this. If anybody is still listening to this, when we post it, hashtag love Donnie's mom. You have to post love Donnie, hashtag the pound symbol, love Donnie's mom. Because I loved your mom. I thought your mom was the best.
She was an awesome.
I love your mom and dad.
Yeah.
So anyways, you're a couple weeks in. She's not getting better.
We're a couple weeks in. Well, she's not. She's maintaining, not getting better, not getting worse. But how long can somebody keep that going?
Right.
And so our concern was, we got to do something. We got to get something going where she's going towards she's getting better instead of she's just maintaining or getting worse. And so we go to Buffalo General. And she just barely made it there, which was scary. Looking back, she was on oxygen, and through detours and highway work and little different things that happened along the way during the trip, they took 2 oxygen bottles, and she went through both of those, and by the time they got to Buffalo General and got her to her room, she was out of oxygen and just barely surviving. They brought her back, they got her going on oxygen again, got her going back on the, towards the good, and we arrived, and instead of going in to see our mom, our wife, whatever, the doctor pulls us aside and says we need to talk, and that's where we were dealt the heavy blow. I don't know why Olean sent her here, but there's nothing we can do for her, and we're going to try to make her as comfortable as we can while she passes away, basically, is what, in a nutshell, that's what the doctor said. That was a very heartbreaking thing.
Sure.
So from that point on, there was a lot of tears, tears of sadness and tears of joy. Because she still had her faculties about her. Mm-hmm. And I have never, ever been in that position and had somebody that was just given basically a death sentence.
Yeah.
And literally seconds after hearing, well, you're going to die, start going through, well, I want to make sure that so-and-so gets this, and I want to make sure, her friend at the time, Amber, I want Amber to make sure she gets all the clothes that I used to wear, that she would say, hey, that really looks nice. I want Amber to have this or that or whatever. To be staring death in the face, John, and all you can think about is your friends, that you want to make sure that they have this or that. Oh, that's tough. That's tough, dude.
is.
Still gets
Your mom,
me.
yeah. You're making me a lot actually. A little teary-eyed over here. So do you want? Is that? How do you want to go out?
I don't know.
Like that, where you're just like completely like, I know what's going on.
No.
Or you just want the lights to go out.
I just want it to be done.
It seems like there's benefits both ways, but
I don't know. I don't know what the best way is.
life's kind of a fucking clunky, confusing thing. You know what's weird?
I don't want it to end this way,
No.
but you know what?
It's real life?
It is real life, and you know, I am proud of the person that she is or was, and I only hope that I can be sitting on my deathbed or laying in my deathbed, and people around me are looking at me as if much like I look at this situation, or you look at this situation right now, where those people really, they lived a good life. They had an awesome raising of their children, and there's meaning to what they stood for, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
So let me ask a question. I'm glad you're talking about this, by the way.
Yeah, it's tough.
I know. I watched all this, and I'm not great. I'm not great with emotions. When all this was going on, I don't know what to fucking say or to do, or be like you come up to somebody, their mom dies, and you give them a hug, and you're like, sorry, and it feels like the most empty, fucking non-fixing any situation fucking gesture you've ever made. There's no fixing it. It just feels fake. That's what I hate about funerals. I fucking refuse to go to them.
I hate them.
Unless somebody I really love is there, I just won't go, because there's a whole bunch of sorry, hug, sorry, hug. Dude, it's the worst. But dude, I'm so fucking drunk. I can't think what I was gonna say. No, I'll think of it. Oh, I thought of it. So, when you die, if somebody was going to stand up and say 3 things about you, what would those 3 things be? Like, Donnie was X, Y, and Z. But before you say that, what are the 3 things that you would say about your mother? What are your mom's X, Y, and Z?
My mom, very artistic.
True.
Very caring. Very caring person.
Very true.
And a very giving person. You know? She cared about everybody, and in the end, she's laying there in her deathbed and saying, I want this person to have this, I want this person to have that, you know, to me, if I'm laying there in a deathbed, I hope that I'm thinking about somebody else, you know, what can I give them?
So she had made peace.
Yeah. It was seconds, literally seconds, and she was right on to, okay, it's over. I want my stuff to go to this person, that person. I mean, to me, that is the most humbling. Oh, that's tough. But myself, I think I'm a pretty fair person. I think a lot of people think that, and I would hope that they remember the fun times. You know, I would want that.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it for me.
That's only two. You're a fair person. Fun time. You're fun. You have to have one more. It's the rules. You came off with 3 for your mom, like bat.
I've helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've helped people with their life, whether it be they didn't have a dad or whatever, and I helped them kind of.
Are you talking about girls or?
No. Just those are issues.
I just have to bring it back up a little bit.
I've helped people that you know, they're kind of searching for something, and I've also they got things kind of goofed up, and you know, we talk about stuff and figure it out, you know. But I'm happy with my life.
All good things. And maybe your mom taught you to be the same person. So when you get to the end,
I'm sure.
Well, brother,
I think we've bored people enough.
No, there's still people. We'll throw another hashtag out there.
What's it going to be?
Hashtag not bored. If you're still listening.
Yeah.
2 hours in.
Yeah. True. God, you talk.
It goes. You were doing most of the talking. Well, this is why we come to camp. And to burp.
Drink and be sad about.
No, man. You know, that's the weird thing. I think there's like the whole time you were talking right there, I'm tearing up over here. Like, seriously. Like, gets me right in the feels. And it's starting to get me again. But that's life. And like most of the time, you go through life and everybody just kind of shirks it. Like it's coming at you and you're like a linebacker that fucking shrugs off the block. And you know what's right behind that block? Fucking life. Like,
yeah.
And some stuff just sucks. And you know what? You know what sucks? You know what really fucking sucks? What really makes me fucking sad and gets me down? Everything you described is a normal good life. You get old, something happens, and you pass away, and your family loves you. And where I get really down is how many fucking weirdo fucking shit happens, like child abuse or like over in fucking the Middle East where randomly a bomb drops on your house and everybody dies and you wake up and your kid doesn't have a fucking head anymore. And just like that shit, like we live in a fucked up world.
We have a sheltered area where we are.
Yes, we live the best lives ever.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, seriously, how fucking lucky are we? Us two fucking dickheads get to sit on a deck with a fire that we need to stoke, with a fucking... Donnie showed up last week with a dump truck load of fucking wood. Like, hey, got some wood. We're like, okay, we're gonna have fucking lots of fires. Like, that kind of shit is good. Like, we're all fucking
Life is
friends
good.
and good, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. Like,
It's good to have those kind of people around you. I look forward to having the friends I have.
what if we meet new friends? Do you only have room for so many friends?
I don't know if they're as good as the friends I have.
Good friends.
You know?
I love you, brother. All right, everybody.
All right.
We're closing the last Campcast. I can't find my mouse to shut this fucker off. Uh-oh.
Shut it down.
This might have to run all night because either my eyes are failing me or I got it. All right. Fuck all you fucks. Donnie and I are gonna drink more drinks, and we're just gonna sit beside. We might just sit around and just cry all night. I love you, man.
And cry and rock back and forth.
All right.
Okay.
I never know how to end anything.
It's over. It's over, Johnny.
So, audience, it's not us. It's you.